Well, Valerie Budge is an 85-year-old woman who endured the devastating storm that tore through Victoria's Dandenong Ranges on her own.
Yikes.
For the best part of a week, she sat alone in the dark and freezing cold, left without power, supplies, hot water or any way to communicate. A week.
That is unbelievable. Neighbours found her and came to her rescue, taking her to the emergency department where she was treated for severe dehydration. Valerie and her neighbour Rachel join us now from LifeView, the Willows Respite Centre in Wheelers Hill. Valerie, good morning to you. How are you feeling?
Good morning. I'm feeling quite well now, thank you. I've been in a warm environment and I appreciate that very much.
Oh, it's all...
Well, I think we were devastated for you when we heard this story, Valerie. Just talk us through that week that you spent after the storm, home alone.
Well, I could hardly believe it. Unfortunately, I have a cat and the cat kept me warm and I kept him warm. But other than that, no, it was... people were very kind, like Rachel here, and some of my other neighbours were bringing me food to the point where I couldn't keep it any longer because I didn't have any refrigeration.
What was the storm like, Valerie?
Well, I actually slept through it because I wasn't... It didn't affect my house. Pardon?
Yeah, no, I just...
The storm, I didn't actually...
Go on, sorry.
I didn't know it was happening because I must have slept through it. I don't know what time it was, but I was told about it and I saw the devastation afterwards. But fortunately, in Ferny Creek, where I live, at that point where I live, it didn't affect my trees, nor did it affect my house. I appreciate that too.
Yeah. Hey, so Rachel, you and your family are quite new to the area. You made this decision, you thought you'd better go over and just check on Valerie. How was she when you first saw her?
So we didn't even know Valerie was there for 4 days or so, and it was just by fluke that we realised she was home. So it was the Tuesday before, which was literally the first time that I met Valerie, and that was like 6 days after the storm. And we convinced Val to come in and have a shower. So I don't think I can really tell you what she looked like because it was the first time I met her.
I still look like that, a wreck of the Hesperus.
She was cold and she was in the dark. Yeah.
Oh, was she? Your heart must have ached for her.
It was confronting, Karl, and it still brings tears to my eyes, knowing that she was in that situation for so long, in the cold and the dark. I think she had about 6 or 7 layers of jumpers on.
I certainly did.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not good enough, is it? That someone can be left alone for that long?
No. While you're saying things like that, I'd like to make an appeal to the Victorian public, the voters, not to vote this government in next time.
Hear, hear.
It's I think Val's very opinionated, but I guess I'd like to preface that as well and say, the community and the local volunteers have done such an extraordinary job in the hills, and have banded together. They spent the first 3, 4, 5, 6 days cutting people out of their homes and banding together and helping people. The first we really heard from our local government was Friday just gone, where they offered us a cash payment. Karl, we don't need cash payments. We need help on the ground. We needed ADF immediately.
And that was refused initially until they were persuaded to take them on, wasn't it?
Valerie,
Yeah.
it was on our program
thoughts.
last week, and we found out that the ADF had been, hadn't been requested, but had offered their services, and that had been denied. How does someone who's sitting, and this really is upsetting, for you to be on your own like that and to find out that the ADF could have come in and helped out all these people well before now. I mean, both of you have... What would you like to say about that?
Well, I'm not exactly what you might be impressed. It's typical of this particular government, and that's why I said what I said about not voting for them next time. I just think they're so terribly incompetent, and I'd much rather see somebody that knows what they're doing take the helm.
Karl, again, I'd like to veer away just a little bit from the political and just say I don't mind who it is. The local community are crying out for help still. We need help on the ground. We need security. We need assistance. We need generators. We need the generators refueled because we can't get down to get fuel. Trees are still falling, so people please stay out of the hills. It's not time for tourists. People are traumatised. They're traumatised and living in fear constantly. I don't mind who the support comes from, but you know, the community is already working so hard. We need more help on the ground, and it's not just the hills, it's the local surrounding suburbs as well, and it's also Gippsland.
Yep, you're
You're
cold.
quite right, Rachel.
A lot of you are still in the dark, and there's
Oh.
more rain coming.
Yes,
Sorry, Valerie.
that's correct. That's correct.
That's all right. I just want to say that Rachel, I'm not being political here. I don't really, I'm like you, I don't care. As long as there's a competent person at the helm, I don't mind who it is.
Ladies, thank you for your time
And-
today.
and door knocks
look,
to make sure
I'm
everyone's
going to say it
safe.
for you, and it's not political, but when a government can no longer look after its most vulnerable, and Valerie is a case in point, then they are no longer fit to govern. And they have badly let down the people in the Dandenongs and in your area. And so if they can't do it, then ship up, ship out, because you deserve more. The community's doing everything they can. They've worked tirelessly and they're not getting any support. I think it's absurd. All the very best. Let us know how you go. And Valerie, all our love.